Hello everyone, I might have found a firearm that Gavin Newsom and Joe Biden would somehow actually like. And it's quite possibly the worst gun I've ever seen. We're going to be talking a lot about this gun today. If you enjoy this kind of content, let me know, leave a comment down below, but let's just jump right into it.
So you check on the... All right.
It's a frosty January day at this firing range in Boise, Idaho, where the rangemaster checks and readies to fire a new prototype of what might be the handgun of the future. Developed by Lodestar Works, this 9mm pistol is a prototype smart gun.
So I've watched this video a few times, and I had to pause this at a point that I wasn't initially intending to pause. I think in that video, we saw him successfully fire a few rounds. I think at the end, it actually did a double tap, meaning that it would have been some sort of simulated full auto, something that a firearm like this, when improperly designed, could happen. And then, when he goes to unload it, we see a round fall out of the magwell and come out of the chamber. So I think not only did the string of fire finish with the gun going full auto, it also managed to double feed, or some sort of failure to extract occurred.
Developed by Lodestar Works, this 9mm pistol is a prototype.
Does this seem like the handgun of the future? Now, full auto, you got me there. Unreliable jamming, you lost me. Now let's take a quick look at what this gun actually is. The photos that I initially saw circulating online had me kind of scratching my head because it looked a lot like somebody took the Free Men Don't Ask designs and the drop-in rails that are found on typical additive manufacturing firearms. I don't want to say the word, 3D printing. But it looks as if this gun was made with additive manufacturing and then used drop-in metal rails that many of the current enthusiasts of that world are using. And somehow, this gun is even more hideous than my bolt-action Glock. Don't ask me how they did it, but they did it.
Equipped with fingerprint reader, passcode, and a way to lock and unlock it from a mobile phone.
Right now we're testing two different positions for that biometric from an ergonomic standpoint. First being right here, where you'd either touch it with your thumb or your index finger. The opposite side with your index finger more when you're in a shooting position.
So one of the primary ways that someone would be able to access this firearm is by having it have fingerprint sensors. Now, smartphones have been around for a while now. I imagine that maybe a lot of you have experienced fingerprint sensors on your smartphones. Let me know if you've ever had an issue with your smartphone technology not registering your inputs of your fingerprint. Now, what if you're wearing gloves? Don't worry, they have solutions for that.
Rob Regent is a mechanical engineer with SGW Design Works, which is building the Lodestar prototype.
The second authentication method is a pin pad right here, and what those are just more or less tactile push buttons. There's 3 of them. You know, you can do 4 to 6 digits. It acts much like an electronic door lock would.
Oh shit, I think somebody's breaking into my house. Hang on, let me play the flute. Yeah, that sounds like exactly what I want to have to do. I would love if I grab my gun, if then, maybe I'm wearing gloves, maybe I'm sweaty, my palms are sweaty, knees weak, arm are heavy, I don't know, something mom's spaghetti, but my fingerprints aren't working. So then I'm like, oh shit, what are my other options? Well, I can play the Macarena, on my Glock. Hopefully that works. Now, all firearms, if you live with children, or if you live with people who cannot be trusted around firearms, should be stored in a locked container, because even if these things do manage to work, you can't rely on technology to keep the guns out of the hands of somebody that shouldn't have them. All technology is hackable. So let's say you get a bump in the night, you get your gun out. Now maybe you live with kids or something, so you take it out of a safe, some sort of quick access safe, and then you got to play the flute with your Glock. I don't know, that sounds like extra time that is going to need to be taken in order to actually be able to defend yourself.
The third method is the BLE or the Bluetooth low energy. And basically we have a mobile application that will communicate wirelessly to the gun, and you can lock or unlock from any of those methods altogether.
This guy wants a phone app to be one of the main methods of unlocking your gun. I feel like I don't even need to explain why that's a bad idea.
Personalized smart guns, which can only be fired by verified users, may finally be available to U.S. consumers after 2 decades of questions about reliability and concerns they will usher in a new wave of government regulation.
I love how blatantly obvious that this was filmed, recorded, done, designed, everything along the way was done by non-gun people, because they're saying that they're getting pushback from a reliability aspect, when the first clip in this video, I'm pretty sure, showed a accidental full auto and a failure to feed or failure to eject potential double feed. That's like the ultimate combination of unreliable. When you're in a defensive situation, or you're in a situation where you're expecting one round to go off when you pull the trigger, it to cycle and then fire another round when you pull the trigger a second time, you don't want an accidental full auto. Could there be situations for full auto in a practical setting for most people? I don't know, but we're talking about semi-auto firearms today, and it seems like they couldn't even quite get that right.
Lodestar co-founder Gareth Glazer told Reuters the inspiration for the company came after hearing one too many stories about children shot while playing with an unattended gun.
There it is. You know, it had to be coming, right? You know, for the children, obviously, for the children.
I'd seen the abject failure of every policy to try to do something about gun safety. Lobbying and regulations and lawsuits and, and it all goes nowhere. Not one life is saved. In fact, the statistics just keep going.
What I love about this is I'm pretty sure that's not true. And accidental gun deaths are a very, very small portion of all gun deaths. And here's the thing, we already have a solution for that. Let me show you something real quick. This is what we call a gun storage box or a gun safe or a gun locker. This keeps people that you're fine with having in your house from accessing your firearms without your permission. Crazy. And you know, this I think you can get on Amazon for like $50 or less if you don't want to use the technology versions and just use ones with keys. I know this is a crazy concept, but it is possible to prevent access to your firearms from children.
Yeah.
Advocates say smart guns could also reduce suicides. A lost or stolen gun would be useless, and police officers would not have to fear that their own service weapons might be taken and used against them.
I will maybe consider the argument for law enforcement if you can find one law enforcement agency anywhere in the United States that would say, yes, we will give every one of our officers one of these guns. If you can do that, I would accept the argument that maybe law enforcement would find value in this. But I don't know anyone that would be so foolish to think that this technology is not hackable. One of the more popular smart guns that are on the market was already found to be hackable in such simple ways that the actual hacker was blown away how simple it was. Just by holding a magnet next to the gun, he could start shooting. Crazy. Technology in handguns and firearms in general is not something that I want involved in the ability for the gun to fire. Red dots, cool. Flashlights, cool. Infrared sighting systems, very cool. Do I want a small piece of electronics to be the thing that keeps the gun from going off? No, I don't. I really don't want that.
The NSSF says it does not oppose smart guns as long as the government doesn't mandate their sale. The Lodestar gun would sell for $895. Similar firearms are being readied for market by other developers.
So a gun that they're getting ready to bring to the market is going to be about $900. And it's not going to be very reliable. It's not going to be very desirable. But this is going to be the kind of thing that Gavin Newsom and other gun grabbers love to latch onto and say, oh, the pushback from the gun industry, it's their fault that smart guns don't exist. No, bro, that's just simple supply and demand. Nobody wants their gun to be less reliable. And when you start involving technology into the ability for the gun to fire, that's what we call potential unreliability. The reason the AK and the Glock are so popular is because of how simple they are. There's certain firearms that have stood the test of time simply because they are simple. When you add this sort of technology into the gun, nobody wants that because this kind of technology will get someone killed. I don't think anybody wants to have to play the flute or hope that they're not wearing gloves or hope that their fingerprints aren't too clammy today in order to actually use their gun. My wife has very clammy hands. It's just something, there's a lot of people that experience this, and there are often times when doing nothing that she can't actually access her thumbprint scanner on her phone. Is that the kind of thing you want in a situation that's going to be very nerve-wracking and very tense? I don't think so. Now, in this next clip that I'm showing you, this is actually something that was posted on Twitter that at the end of the video that I was watching from Reuters, you can actually see them cut off the part where it doesn't fire. So on this clip, he's asking, hey, so okay, I'm armed, I'm ready. He's talking to the instructor, telling him how it's going to work. He fires the first round, and then nothing, dead trigger.
Doesn't matter. See you in this way. You're hot now.
Ready?
Yep.
All right. Everybody got ears?
Yep.
2 rounds you want?
Yep.
In their demonstration that they were making, hey, look, smart guns, it's on the market. We're going to be able to do this, guys. This is fine. Like, look, this looks like a Glock. This is the one. The smart guns are cool. They had a full auto, potentially, with a jam, and they had a situation where the gun just didn't fire. Every type of unreliability was experienced by this gun, apart from it just blowing up. Let me know what you guys think down below. What do you think about this kind of smart gun technology? Would you be interested in owning something like this, regardless of how you feel about the mandates potentially of them existing? What do you think about this? Let me know what you think. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.